The valuations are in. Oh dear baby Jesus, the valuations are in. Chapter 240 of the Blue Lock manga just dropped today. At least the spoilers for the chapter did, and oh boy, we got a really good one. Not only do we get the brand new evaluations for the Neo Egoist League that I just said, believe now it's a total of 29 or so. I'll be able to confirm it in just a second when I take a look at the list again. But 29 total Blue Lockers who finally have themselves, a little bit of a bag. They've gotten a little bit of evaluation from a pro team. There's a lot of, I guess you could say, interesting values because a lot of them don't make sense, especially in my opinion. I'll explain the ones that don't make sense to me most when I get to them, but for others, it is cool to see players that we haven't really seen get spotlight, not only just not get spotlight, but haven't really heard about in a long time. It's cool to see them get a little bit of not only recognition, but see that they got playing time as well as getting themselves pro contracts. I'm not breaking down the chapter today, it's going to be another video, but in the meantime, let's get straight into the valuations, shall we? So, taking a look at my handy dandy computer over here, shout out Ryuga on Twitter, or X if you want to call it that, in order from lowest to highest, Blue Lockers only, keep in mind. We have number 29, Nanase with 3 million. Number 28, the Wanima brother with 4 million. Number 26, we have a tie between Hiragi and Fukaku, both at 5 million apiece. Neo is at 25 with 6 million. Zantetsu is getting himself a little bit of a bag with 8 million at the 24 spot. It is cool to see Zantetsu as well as his PXG teammate Tokumitsu in these 23rd and 24th spots, as Tokumitsu has 2 million more than him with a total of 10 million on his bid. This is giving me a lot of fuel for my PXG speculation video, so stay tuned for that, but I actually am very excited to see more from not only these two, but the entirety of the PXG lineup. Moving on, we have Hayate at 13 million, Darai at 15 million, Raichi, everybody's favorite CDM, at 18 million, coming into the top 20. That's a W for Raichi. Let's go. Honestly, 18 million can be seen as a bit of a stretch, even though he did have that little one-on-one scuffle with Mark Snuffy. It's still a bit of a stretch, but we'll let him pass. W Raichi. Proud of you, buddy. Coming in at numbers 19 and 18, we have Sendao and Hiyori with 20 million respectively. Now, this is the first one that really doesn't make sense to me. Well, one, Sendao should get a little bit of a higher valuation just due to the fact that his save, like people talk about the goals that were scored in this match, let's talk about Sendao's save, because not only is he just the most clutch dude ever and does this like once every single time he's in a match, he truly got ice in his veins, but when it comes to Hiyori, 20 million is a little bit too low for the performance that we saw, in my opinion at least. I understand this was his first time checked into the match, and realistically, it was not even half of a match. It was like the final third of a match, so he really had no playing time at all, and he realistically only had 1 assist as well as 1 goal attempt, but I feel like not only the skills that were shown, but his ability to link up with Isagi, who is seen as the main, not only striker, but main star player of the entirety of the match, should have been valued a little bit higher, at least in my opinion, but that's just me. If you want to put Hiyori down here, I understand. It's a little disrespectful, and it doesn't showcase just how good he truly is, but cool. I'll let it slide. Moving on, number 17, we have Otoya at 22 million, 16, Karasu with 24 million, you'd love to see it. Ikiniko coming in at a whopping 30 million, Gagamaru coming in at 32 million, sad that he missed out on the top 10. Kuruna getting into the 11th spot with 34 million, Ryu breaking into the 11th spot, Ryu coming in at number 11 with 35 million, and breaking into the top 10, we have a tie between the Chameleon and Yuki Miya. Now that's interesting. Rio tied with Yuki Miya on valuations now. That's something I really wasn't expecting, but I think we're going to have to get used to seeing stuff like that. Next up, we have number 8, Oliver Aiku coming in at 38 million. Then in the number 7 spot, people, we have Nagi Seishiro, who dropped down from 88 million in the number 2 spot to the number 7 spot with 43 million, which is, it's pretty fucking wild. Holy shit. I didn't expect him to drop this much. I could have seen a drop being justified, but slicing his valuation in half it's pretty wild. And moving on, we got yet another tie between Kunigami and Shigiri, actually, 2 of the Egoist 4. They're kind of dating themselves, so it's cool to see that. 1 spot above them is their Egoist 4 brethren, Meguru Bachira, coming in with a whopping 66 million. He didn't play this week, so he is still holding strong in that top 5. It's crazy that he took a week off and he's still in the top 5. Just goes to show that he's a W. Bachira really is a W. And oh baby, it's time to talk about the top 3. Now, this is interesting to say the least, because the way certain stuff was weighed doesn't make sense in my opinion, but at the same time, we'll just kind of like figure it out as we go. All right, coming in at number 3, Baro Shoei with 130 million. Okay, Understandable. He scored 2 goals this match, going up from 100 million to 130 million. That makes sense, right? 2 goals, 30 million, boom. What doesn't make sense is Isagi going from 50 million to 150 million. And a lot of people are going to be like, oh, Clamp, you have to realize Isagi did like everything this match. And yeah, okay, I kind of understand that. Like, sure, he still had a stupid amount of stops. Nowhere near as many as he did in Manshine, but still a stupid amount. He was kind of going from one side of the field to the other in a split second and stopping them every single time they'd advance the ball. So I can, I guess, kind of see the justification. But still, in the Neo Egoist League, valuations were said to be based heavily on goal, and that's what's weighed heavier than everything else in the Neo Egoist League, right? But you're negating that and conflicting everything that you just said right now with how you just changed up these valuations. Do you get what I'm saying? This is where I'm saying there are inconsistencies with the narrative and just inconsistencies in the manga itself that they're trying to do to make Isagi stronger, which just isn't going to work. Because how do you say that goals are going to be worth more than everything else, yet Baro and Isagi scored the exact same amount, and Baro only went up 30 million, whereas Isagi went up an entire 100? And then if we're really going to nitpick it, right? 2 goals each, right? Baro went up 30 million. Let's say 30 million right there. 30 million is worth the 2 goals, right? So take 30 million out of Isagi's, that leaves him with 70 million. That doesn't sound like goals make up the majority of your points now, does it? And I understand the reasoning is because most of what Isagi is getting isn't at the striker position, but that's kind of what Blue Lock is trying to make you think, is that this is all for the striker position. We understand that it's not, but that's what Blue Lock is trying to say. So it's a little stupid in my opinion, and the math doesn't math if you really do the math. But whatever. Like truly whatever. I don't get it. I don't get it. And on the topic of math not mathing, Atoshi Rin, #1 spot. We already knew this, coming in at 180 million. Like, okay. I mean, if you're going to be inaccurate, if you're going to be inconsistent with Isagi's, then at least be inconsistent with Rin's. But at the same time, Rin did score a hat trick on a stronger team than Barcha, something that Baro did while already having 2 goals previously. So I guess if Baro is going to be here and he's going to jump to 100 million off the first hat trick, giving Rin an automatic 100 million for his hat trick, I guess you can kind of factor in the rest depending on the assumptions you can make about what he did throughout the match, you know? Okay, so that is going to be the Neo Egoist rankings as far as the Blue Lockers are concerned, but one thing we have to talk about briefly, I'm not going to cover it too long because I have a separate video that I want to talk about it fully, is going to be the newest valuation for Michael KAISER. Now, as we know, Michael KAISER had a valuation of 300 million. Yes, that's a pretty deep bag. 300 million from Bastion Munich, leading into the Neo Egoist League at the very start of this arc. However, that has all changed with the newest bidders, the newest club who wants their hands on this new Gen 11 striker, and that's going to be the quote-unquote strongest club in the world, the club Atoshi Sai belongs to, Real Madrid. I'm so giddy just hearing about this, like the possibilities that can come with KAISER actually going to Madrid, and like, oh my god, dude, I'll talk about it more in a separate video, but still, like, holy fuck, that is gotta be my favorite thing to come out of this entire arc, period. But yeah, that's gonna do it for today's video. This is just a quick one. I wanted to break down the valuations with you guys real quick and just let you know what I thought about where everyone is, as well as just any inconsistencies or things I agree with in this list. I do agree with the order, it is correct, but the valuations are just a little off from what I believe they should be realistically, or we should have just started off with higher valuations from the start, but that's just me, yeah? Anyways, with that said, that's going to do it for today's video. Make sure you leave a like and consider subbing up to the channel with post notifications down below so you never miss another banger from myself. I'm going to be having videos coming all month, so stay tuned for that. If you want any more Blue Lock anime or just any other videos, leave them in the comments down below as suggestions. And as always, I love you guys. Take it easy.